Hey everybody, thanks. My name is Sam Korn, and I'm here to talk to you about how to become a Bitcoin accepting merchant. And I hope to, kind of just like the Swan motto, where I'm trying to help the next 10 million people become Bitcoin business owners. So yes, all the people in this room, this is you. You have Bitcoin you want to spend. We always have all these platitudes called like, get on zero, spend and replace. Like, I would love to spend more Bitcoin, but most of the time, like, there's just like nothing I really want to spend it on. Like, I can just buy like another like case for my hardware wallet, or even though like I love that business, like I want to like do other things. Like, it's just not something that I really need in my life. So like, I want to like be able to buy my groceries or like buy my farmer's meat with Bitcoin. So like, where is that? So for the other people in the room, there's like the builders, the craftsmen, the artists, musicians, brewers, distillers. Like, you have a valuable skill. You do the proof of work, but you need to find, you want to find like a new customer base. And it's like, we love these kind of people. And I think I want to like, how do we empower them to accept Bitcoin in their business? And I think the way that we empower them to accept Bitcoin for their business is that they need to trust the tools that they're using. They need to trust the Bitcoin network. And so I'm going to go through kind of a suite of tools that you could use in order to become a sovereign Bitcoin merchant. So here's the stack. So we talked through a lot of this previously, but you have your Bitcoin node. In order to do anything with Bitcoin, you need to have a node. You have your Lightning node. You can choose CLN, LND, or potentially any others. And then, like, kind of like the main focus of this talk, though, is kind of down below the Lightning node in the stack. So like the payment gateway, and then like your website, like your marketplace, which may be on Nostr or other places, or maybe another custom application. And then I just threw in the node management in there because it's just like another thing that talks to your node. It's part of the sovereign stack that you need to have. So just a little refresher from all the previous talks. So you got your full archival node. It's pretty large, 650 gigabytes, but it's old reliable. Bitcoin cores will always run, and people run it very reliably. But like, it's expensive. Like, if you're running this fully in the cloud, you're paying for 650 gigabytes of storage every month, and that kind of gets expensive. So like, unless you're using some like shared node or something like that, it gets expensive, and you can do better. You can run a pruned node. You can run that on your own machine, or you can run like a Start9, and that's another option. It's also reliable because it's Bitcoin Core, and it takes up a little bit less disk space, so you're not paying like an arm and a leg just for like hosting this in the cloud every month. Or you can run, if you're running LND specifically, you can run a neutrino node, which, as far as I remember, it's like 1 to 2 gigabytes max on disk. It might actually be a lot less than that, but it's like a compact block filter mechanism, and it's basically like a light Bitcoin node. And if you're running a node fully in the cloud, it might be a good option for you. But in my experience, I've had so many problems with neutrino nodes. So like, especially if you're trying to be fully self-sovereign, you should run a node at home or like somewhere reliable, not pay hosting fees, and maybe not do neutrino. And so we talked through these implementations previously as well. But CLN, LND, Eclair, those are sort of like the 3 node implementations that are sort of out of the box, batteries included, and they have all the pieces and parts together. And then there's LDK, which is the Rust Bitcoin, which is more of like a toolkit for building node implementations. And so it's not really like merchant focused, at least at this point. So for now, let's just run with like CLN and LND, because those are the most popular. Because let's remember that these are merchants and not software developers. So this is where we're going. So what do I do with my node? So we connect to our node a payment gateway. And so specifically, we're going to be talking about BTCPay server and LNBits. And so this is, a lot of these node implementations, they have like hundreds of APIs. They can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Like you can route payments over a very specific pathway. You can do HODL invoices that like don't settle for hours or days or something. But like, we're a merchant, we don't care about that stuff. So you have this payment gateway, which is the abstraction layer on top of your node, and it provides like a different set of APIs that are mostly like focused on like what a merchant might need. So business workflows like invoice creation, a simple UI for displaying that invoice, all hosted by this payment gateway. It monitors your node, like it's constantly talking back and forth between your node and asking like, is this invoice paid? And if that invoice has been paid, then it might send a webhook somewhere saying like, this invoice has been paid, start this whole like process in this merchant's like workflow, like start printing out receipts, start like buying shipping and whatnot. And so this is like a powerful tool for a merchant. And I just want to mention, like at the very bottom, this is public-facing software, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But I just want to mention, like you don't want your payment gateway to get hacked, and then someone then gains control of your Lightning node and all of the funds underneath. So starting, let's start with BTCPay server, the sort of the gold standard of payment gateways. It's the most trusted. It's been around probably the longest, and it's so kind of going back to that diagram before. Like it has all these pieces like Bitcoin Core. It has like a light block explorer on top, and NBK Explorer. It has like the BTCPay software itself, and then just like a database which holds like the information about all the invoices that you've generated and all that. And so it's a pretty simple system, but it's generally deployed with Docker Compose, and it's kind of an opinionated deployment, I would say. So like on their website, they say like, unless you're like a super nerd, like don't try to like do something special here. Like you should just run Docker Compose, and then Docker Compose is going to spin up all these services, and I actually kind of left out, this is from their website, but it would also have LND or CLN here as well. And so it's kind of like your node is packaged up in this one install. Your Lightning node, your Bitcoin node, your payment gateway. It's all one big thing. Oh, and I missed this. It also supports Liquid and other altcoins, if you think Liquid's an altcoin. OK, actually, switching over, there's a different payment gateway called LNBits, which is also like a little bit newer, a little bit more plugin focused, and it allows you to, instead of like having, like you can connect it to like various different node implementations, LND, CLN, Eclair, but it also has like cool options where you can hook it up to custodial services like OpenNode or LNPay, which is like another kind of custodial service as far as I'm aware. And it's a little bit easier to run because, as you'll see in the next slides, it's limited, a little bit more limited in what LNBits does as like an ecosystem or as a platform. And so you can run on a local machine. It's written in Python. You can just git clone the repo and do pip install and then run it. And it's pretty easy. Or you can run like a Docker image. And then you're just pointing it to your LND node, or CLN node, which is most likely running somewhere else. It's not one big package of software. So here's the kind of comparison. It's like what I've been explaining here. So LNBits doesn't have Bitcoin Lightning included. It's basically just a payment gateway with like connections to custom applications, Nostr Marketplace, or a website. where BTCPay server is more like a holistic system where it has Bitcoin node, Lightning node, payment gateway, and some basic node management also included into BTCPay server. So they're kind of different beasts for different use cases. But at the same time, they're very similar. So here's what the payment screen looks like for comparing BTCPay to LNBits. Basically, all have the same thing, awaiting payment. This is just like constantly polling in your browser, checking to see if the payment's been gone through, because you want to pay this, like I've just donated for this meetup, you pay it, and after like a couple seconds, it notices it's been paid, and then it refreshes the screen and like redirects you back to your website saying like, thanks for your payment. So kind of like a very traditional payment flow, like if you're using Stripe or something like that. You see some kind of Stripe payment screen, and you pay it, and then you go back to your website. So that's what the payment screen looks like. And one kind of cool thing that's like maybe a little bit newer in these software is instead of having to, like, so you're already running BTCPay server LNBits. Maybe you don't want to run a website. You just want to run your node in LNBits or whatever. So they offer some plugins that allow you to basically host a very basic website on the payment gateway itself. So that's what's shown here. So on the left is BTCPay server. You can kind of see that in the URL up here. That's like the URL of my BTCPay server. And it's like kind of like a cool like simple UI for accepting payments. And on the right side, LNBits has like a slightly more advanced one where you can sell a variety of things. You can do physical products or digital products, and then you can like put digital products behind a paywall. So once you pay it, they get access to like a link to download something. But they're all, like the cool thing about it is like you don't have to run any additional software to have a store. And you can just like include this as like a link to your store in your Nostr profile or something like that if someone wants to pay you for some product. And then, so after saying all of that, I want to take a little aside that like we mentioned in the previous talk as well. There's macaroons or runes. And in the ideal situation, you would want to, and a macaroon is an API key for your node. So it gives you permission to send commands to your Lightning node because you want to do some action on your Lightning node. But you can give these macaroons, like varying levels of permissions, varying APIs on that LND or CLN node that you want to give it access to. And so for this payment gateway in particular, like I was saying, like this is public-facing software. If someone somehow gets inside of it, you don't want them to also gain access to your node and gain access to all your funds. So you might want to create a macaroon that only has permission to create invoices and check to see if an invoice is paid. And that's it. Because yeah, you don't want it to get hacked. And in a way, I would like to say that LNBits is better in this regard because you can give it this limited macaroon saying like, I only want to do these specific things, where BTCPay server, because it's such like a holistic system and it like includes the node management and everything, it's given the permission to sort of do everything with your underlying node. So it's just kind of like a different trade-off that you might want to think about. And I wish that BTCPay was a little bit more modular because I would like to implement something like that in BTCPay, but it's just hard because it's all opinionated. And Dylan was supposed to go after me, but I just want to mention like all the stuff that he said. Like, in order to have a healthy merchant node, you need to do node management. You need to open up your channels. You need to balance the channels. Sometimes someone's going to pay you and be like, accidentally, I didn't mean to pay you. Can you send me the money back? You need to have the ability to do refunds. That's all built in within BTCPay server, but if you're using LNBits, you might want to use a different software to do these like payments or do these refunds and stuff like that. And so this is private-facing software. So if you're making a custom macaroon for this private-facing software, you can probably give it like your admin macaroon if you're on LND, or something that has like high permissions. And so these are similar to the options Dylan showed, but some options here. I won't go too deep into that. But so now you have your payment gateway, and it's connected to your node, and like everything's working. But you're trying to you're not just trying to reach like crazy people or something like that. You want to like get like the normies to pay in Bitcoin. So it's like they go to Google and they like find your website, and they're like, wow, this looks like a well put together person. Like he's selling something cool. I want to buy it. And then so one of those options is like using WordPress. WordPress is used by like many people around the world, like millions and millions of people. And so if you're trying to like make like a professional, like normie focused website, you might want to use WordPress. Let's just say that. You can do a custom website too. You can just if you're just a developer, you can use the APIs, these business-focused APIs exposed by LNBits or BTCPay server, and you can build a custom website with custom imagery and graphics, and you can do that. That's another option you can do as well. But it's another way to make a normie-focused website. And then you're starting to get a little bit in the Bitcoin fringes, but you can also do Nostr marketplaces, which is like a way to use LNBits and Nostr and create a marketplace that has like a relatively normal looking UI and accept payments for some product. Diving into that a little bit more, like why we need to focus on WordPress, which I think is really cool, is 455 million websites use WordPress, 62% of websites with a content management system. So it's the big dog in all of the internet. So there's got to be like millions and millions of products that, with very little effort, they can install a plugin and they can start accepting Bitcoin. So and the cool thing about it too is it's supported by BTCPay and LNBits. And so this is kind of what it looks like. This is my mushroom website. So you've got a shopping cart on the right side. You've got some different products you can check out. And then it gives you like a payment screen where you can put in your information. But on the right over here, it says pay with Bitcoin with LNBits. And this is all done by a couple lines of code in your WordPress config. And I use a WordPress GUI config. So all of this is done with zero web development skills. And I discovered this today while making this presentation. There's this thing called SweetSats, which is based on WordPress. But it also has the combination of Nostr marketing, and you can actually pay for the product with zaps. So instead of going through the WordPress UI, you can just zap them on Nostr, if you know what that means, which is, and then you can buy the product. And one of the things I really like about this website as well is it's denominated in sats instead of dollars. It's just it's very refreshing not to have to deal with exchange rates. I wonder how often they update the exchange rate. And then another option, which is a little bit, which is also really good, it's the second most popular CMS. It's Shopify. It's centralized and hosted by Shopify. But also it has BTCPay support via plugin. And it's another option that millions and millions of people use, and why aren't they using it yet? Why aren't they accepting Bitcoin? So let's hope that we can get more of them accepting Bitcoin. And this is from BTCPay's website. You can buy Wiener XL, and so it just looks like a normal website. You can put it in your shopping cart, and then you can either choose between PayPal and accept Bitcoin with BTCPay server. That's what that says there. And then once you press the purchase button, it goes to that payment screen that we showed a number of slides back. And then you pay it, and then it gets redirected back to Shopify, and you just made a Bitcoin payment, and you bought something cool. And then just to kind of juice your imagination a little bit more of what you can do with Bitcoin and Lightning, I just have some other options here. People have paid Nostr relays. There's beer taps where just like the ones with you put the card and it dispenses beer. There's ones where you can just pay pay sats and then kind of beer comes out, which is really cool. Candy machines, chicken feeders. There's this one I discovered recently called lightning goats, which you can pay, and then once they reach the threshold, they'll go out and like feed the goats. And then like also like great ones like software as a service things like eSIMs and VPNs. Like building a Lightning business is great if you're building like some product that works like a vending machine where you put sats in and some product comes out. Like if you can think about that, then you can think about a good Lightning business. And so yeah, this is Lightning Goats. And it's designed with LNBits, and there's the LNURL plugin. So LNURL is kind of similar to Bolt 12, where you scan the QR code and it sort of generates an invoice from scanning the QR code, a fresh invoice for you that hasn't timed out. And then you can pay it, and then on the live stream, the number goes down. So that's pretty cool. Satoshi's Place, like the OG like drawing application where you pay like 1 Satoshi per pixel you draw. And one of my personal projects is a Satoshi's Place bot that is also paid with Lightning. So lots of cool stuff you can do in the software world. And so yeah, hopefully I've juiced your imagination of what you can do with Bitcoin and Lightning. And if you have some sort of skill or you created a product, I just like want to encourage you that like let me know if I can help, and like let's reach 10 million new Bitcoin merchants, and let's spend some Bitcoin. George?
Oh yeah, what's your input?
Oh, go to this website, and then I have the npub in the corner. Yep.
What's the name of the plugin for LNBits that lets you build a website?
It's just the LNBits marketplace. So there's the marketplace one, which is like that one that I showed a couple ones back, which allows you to like make a number of different products. That's the marketplace. And then if you're connecting LNBits to WordPress, it uses something called the BTCPay plugin.
What about like accounting and taxes and stuff like that? Is that trickier to track, like as a business? If you're denominating things in sats, is there solutions for that?
Well, just never sell. But also like, yeah, I think CLN has some good accounting software. Yeah.
There's a guy named Full Metal Anarchist, and he made a Rust like accounting software that if you're curious about, you can just reach out to me and I can link you to it. It's pretty good.
And if you're using BTCPay server, it actually has I mean, it's not awesome, but it's good enough.
They have good exports.
Good exports, and I have it integrating directly with Zero accounting.
Oh, cool.
So when we create an invoice in Zero, it automatically creates the invoice in BTCPay.
I almost put it on, I deleted from the macaroon screen, but say you did have some sort of accounting software, you would most likely give that accounting software only permission to like list old payments and see if they're paid, or like list the previous invoices and see if they're paid. You wouldn't give it permission to send payments. So just always be looking to minimize permissions given to various softwares.
But let's say if you were holding Bitcoin in the balance sheet, how does that work in terms of your taxes? And how do you do the accounting in that case?
I don't know.
Just don't pay your taxes.
Don't pay. No, I'm on camera. Any more?
Would you say that BTCPay server is better for physical marketplaces and LNBits is better for online marketplaces? And then do you have a preferential POS system that integrates well with BTCPay server that you know of?
Well, they both offer like there's plugins for both software that is like the point of sale software, which you can like, you go to your BTCPay or LNBits instance on your phone, and you can like type in like this amount, and then like you can just give it to your customer and they can scan it.
Not necessarily.
So there's not necessarily one that's better than the other for physical. What was the second question?
Do you have a POS system that you recommend or that you prefer? No.
No.
It looks like LNBits does have all the infrastructure for like in-person POS systems. I don't think BTCPay server does.
Yeah. LNBits does have this kind of cool like thing that allows you to do like offline lightning payments using some like physical like hardware, but I haven't actually dug into that too much.
I'm just looking online. I think I'm getting the website thing confused. There was one slide that you showed that was both the BTCPay server site where you had your, So which is this marketplace LNBits extension? Is that what it's called? Or?
Oh, it's called the marketplace extension.
Yeah. I'm getting it mixed up because I'm just getting to the marketplace for LNBits where they sell all of that, like the in-person sales stuff. But maybe.
But I actually do have the list of all of the like tons of different extensions they have. So they have cool extensions like Nostr NIPO 5. They have the LNURL extension, the point of sale terminal one. Jukebox, so you can hook it up to an API key to Spotify, and then people can pay in order to add songs to your queue on Spotify, which is kind of cool.
So which one is the website one that you were just
It's not actually on here. It's definitely called like Marketplace, I'm pretty sure.
How do you get to the Nostr marketplace? I've never done that before.
How do you get to the Nostr Marketplace?
Yeah, is there like a client for that? I know there's
I think there's some clients.
on LNBits Nostr marketplace.
Yeah, it depends on your actual Nostr client, whether you can interact with that nib of posting.
Oh, okay, so it's a specific nib. Do you know which clients?
Amethyst and Android is built
Which
in.
nib?
No, I was just wondering which client actually allows you to interact with the marketplace.
Amethyst does.
Amethyst? Okay.
But even just like the non-Nostr Marketplace, just like the traditional marketplace, like that picture that I showed was just like one that I saw that someone put in like their Nostr profile. They just put the link there, and so maybe better at this point than the native Nostr one. Well, thanks everybody.